Many years ago, in the heart of Egypt, a cruel decree echoed through the palace halls of Pharaoh. Every newborn Hebrew boy was to be thrown into the Nile. The Israelites, who had been enslaved for generations, were growing too numerous, and Pharaoh feared they might rise in power. To control them, he ordered a terrible massacre. But among the Hebrew people, a woman from the tribe of Levi gave birth to a son, and, seeing he was special, hid him for 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she made a papyrus basket, coated it with tar and pitch, placed the baby inside, and set it among the reeds of the Nile. His older sister, Miriam, watched from a distance to see what would happen. Pharaoh's daughter came to bathe at the river and noticed the basket. She opened it and saw the crying baby. Her heart was moved with compassion. "This must be one of the Hebrew babies," she said. Miriam approached and asked, "Shall I go and call a Hebrew woman to nurse him for you?" The princess agreed, and Miriam brought the baby's own mother. She nursed him until he grew, then brought him back to the princess, who named him Moses, saying, "I drew him out of the water." Moses grew up in the palace, raised as Egyptian royalty. He received the best education and lived in luxury, but deep inside, he never forgot his Hebrew roots. One day, as a grown man, he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave. In anger, Moses struck the Egyptian and killed him, hiding the body in the sand. The next day, he tried to stop a fight between 2 Hebrews, but one of them said, "Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you going to kill me like you did the Egyptian?" Moses realized his crime was known and fled Egypt, afraid of Pharaoh's wrath. He escaped to the land of Midian, where he sat by a well. There, he helped the daughters of a priest named Jethro, who were being driven away by shepherds. In gratitude, Jethro invited Moses to stay and gave him his daughter Zipporah in marriage. Moses became a shepherd and lived in Midian for many years. One day, while tending the flock near Mount Horeb, Moses saw a strange sight: a bush that burned with fire but was not consumed. Curious, he approached. Then, from the flames, a voice called out, "Moses! Moses!" "Here I am," he replied. The voice continued, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Moses hid his face, afraid to look at God. God told Moses he had heard the cries of his people in Egypt and had come down to rescue them. He was sending Moses to Pharaoh to lead the Israelites out of bondage. Terrified, Moses resisted. "Who am I to go to Pharaoh?" But God reassured him, "I will be with you." Still, Moses protested, "What if they don't believe me?" God gave him signs: a staff that turned into a serpent, a hand that became leprous and was healed again. Even so, Moses complained he was not a good speaker, so God allowed his brother Aaron to speak for him. Moses returned to Egypt. He and Aaron confronted Pharaoh. "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, 'Let my people go.'" Pharaoh refused and made the Hebrews labor even harder. That's when the miracles began. One by one, God sent plagues upon Egypt. Water turned to blood. Frogs filled the land. Gnats and flies swarmed. Livestock died. Boils broke out. Hail destroyed crops. Locusts devoured what remained. Darkness covered the land. But Pharaoh's heart remained hard. Finally, God sent the 10th and most devastating plague, the death of every firstborn in Egypt. But he gave instructions to his people. They were to sacrifice a lamb and mark their doorposts with its blood. That night, the angel of death passed through Egypt. Every Egyptian home experienced grief, but the houses marked with blood were spared. Pharaoh, broken with sorrow, finally let the Israelites go. They left Egypt not as slaves, but as a nation led by the hand of God. Yet Pharaoh changed his mind and chased after them. The Israelites found themselves trapped between Pharaoh's army and the Red Sea. They panicked, but God told Moses, "Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea." As Moses obeyed, the waters parted, and the people walked through on dry ground. When the Egyptians followed, the sea returned and swallowed them. The people rejoiced. They sang songs of freedom and praised the God who had delivered them. But their journey wasn't over. In the desert, God led them by a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. He provided water from rocks and manna from heaven. At Mount Sinai, God gave Moses the 10 Commandments, laws to guide the people. While Moses was on the mountain, the people grew restless and built a golden calf to worship. Moses returned, saw the idol, and broke the stone tablets in anger. Still, he pleaded with God to forgive them, and God did. Moses led the Israelites for 40 years through the wilderness. He faced rebellions, interceded for the people, and remained faithful to God's call. Though he was not allowed to enter the Promised Land, God showed it to him from Mount Nebo before he died. Moses was more than a leader. He was a servant of God, a prophet, and a symbol of faith and obedience. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure to subscribe to Momentos de Biblia and comment, what part of Moses' story inspired you the most?